Werewolves. We could call them bitey fellows who get real antsy around the full moon, or we could call them savage lunar-led killers who want to infect you with their virus. Either way, human-wolf hybrids have been the stuff of fiction, but what if they weren't? Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today I'm asking, what if werewolves were real? Before we sink our teeth into this video, I just want to ask all of you that are new here to give it a good thumbs up. Also, click on that big beautiful notification bell. That way you won't have to wait until the next full moon to discover what we have here. You can also find out the exact moment we publish a video, so good, great moon. Werewolves are mythical beings rife in European folklore. In lore, a werewolf is a human who turns into a wolf by the light of the full moon. Under the light of the moon, they go on a rampage, killing things in a manner of a wild beast. In mythology, if a werewolf bites you, you will become a wolf too. But it's all fiction, right? Well, you may be interested to know that there have been around 15 reported cases of clinical lycanthropy. This is where humans believe that they are metamorphing into a wolf. They believe their body is covered in hair and that their nails are long, sharp claws. This is a psychological disorder first documented in 1852, but of course, none of these patients were observed to be actually turning into a wolf. It was all in their mind. But what if it wasn't? Well, if werewolves were indeed real, I would be sending a shout out to Oz from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or Remus Lupin in Harry Potter, two of my favourite all-time wolves. That being said, we probably wouldn't have favourite werewolves if they were real. In general, the public would be pretty scared of them. If they were real in the year 2018, imagine how many years of biting and breeding they would have had. I wonder how many werewolves there would be in the population. If werewolves were real, we would be very tense around the full moon, with people paying way more attention to lunar cycles. News outlets would carry lunar countdowns and moon reports, warning people when the next full moon was coming. A moon phase is 29.5 days, the duration of time it takes for the moon to orbit Earth. 3 of these days are considered to be full moon days. I imagine nighttime curfews would apply in areas with werewolf issues, or all areas, because the wolves may get savvy. In the days leading up to the full moon, people would stock up on food supplies, meaning food stores and, let's face it, liquor stores would be pretty busy. Gotta get that full moon whiskey in. Would curfews be enough though? Werewolves aren't vampires. They could still get into your home without an invite. People would probably barricade themselves in, or have a full moon bunker to wait out the danger. Speaking of danger, with any scary situation comes vigilantes. I can only imagine that groups would take to the streets trying to kill werewolves, who in some fables can only be killed with a silver bullet. If that was the case, I'm sure some people would lock and load up. This would lead to ethical debates, of course, about whether or not it's right to kill a werewolf, who for the majority of the month is a perfectly innocent human being living with a chronic disease. Perhaps instead, local authorities would lock up the human wolves over the full moon to keep them from harming themselves and others. The problem is though, would a wolf come forward? Would society not stigmatize them? Would they be outcasts? Perhaps some rogue werewolves would try and fly under the radar and lock themselves up to try and keep their identity hidden and to stop themselves from harming anyone. If werewolves did exist, perhaps scientists would be working on developing an antidote. If it's a disease, would we be able to funnel enough money into finding a cure? Perhaps not all people bitten would need to turn into a werewolf. A few other werewolf musings. If they existed, would this mean that humans could turn into other animals too? Would it mean that vampires are real? What about unicorns? Would werewolves hunt in packs? Would we see werewolf gangs? Would we decide to eradicate the problem by nuking the moon? Bye-bye, shiny rock friend. So many questions. So far we've been approaching this question from a reasonably fantastical standpoint, but there have been a lot of studies surrounding lunacy and the moon. A lot of people claim to have full moon syndrome. They feel their mood is altered by the phases of the moon. While there is no scientific evidence for this, a lot of health professionals note a change in behavior for schizophrenic patients and people with other prohibitive mental disorders. Perhaps this is something that needs to be studied in further depth. So sure, werewolves might not be real, but perhaps the moon does yield some kind of cosmic power over us. So there we go, that is one question answered for you. What do you think would happen if werewolves were real? Let me know in the comments section down below. Also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on our video and stay subscribed for more big answers. For now, I'm your host Rebecca Felgate. I'll catch you in the next video, but until then, please do stay curious, stay alert, and never ever stop questioning.